Hit 100K last week. As a matter of fact, we are over that now. And as promised, I'm going to take this time to answer the questions that you all have about how long did this take, how much money am I making, and what all went into getting over the 100K. I started this TikTok channel about 18 months ago. So September of 2023 is when I started. Now, obviously my content is mostly homeschool content. That's why most people follow me, but full transparency, I gained a crap ton of followers from getting the shingles and random people wanting to follow my shingles journey. And then also living in Florida through the crazy hurricane season that we had and kind of documenting that. Tons of followers from that as well. So I just want to be like fully realistic here, because had I only posted homeschool content and not had those big like life event things happen, I probably would not have been able to reach this number as quickly. Consistently posting, like you hear that all the time, make sure you're consistently posting, but specifically 3 times a day. But I'm going to be totally honest with you, especially when you're a mom and you're homeschooling, you've got all these kids that you're trying to worry about, like trying to whip out your phone and post 3 times a day is horribly stressful and just not worth it. So one thing that I started doing in the beginning was doing something called batch content, where I would just like take 1 or 2 days out of the week. I would come into the homeschool room or wherever, and I would film like 12 videos. And I would take those 12 videos and I would edit and just post them throughout the week. So I always had like 3 videos on hand that I could post throughout each day. But that was just in the beginning when I was really trying to grow the following. Once I started picking up some pace with the followers, I was able to just go back to like 1 or 2 videos a day. And currently I'm posting like probably 1 or 2 videos a day. But a lot of the following that I'm getting is actually from older videos. So don't delete your stuff. Now, the money with content creating is not in the views. Like I barely get anything from TikTok views. As a matter of fact, I'll show you like the paychecks here on the screen. During the hurricane season videos, I was making close to $1,000 a month in views alone. Just with my normal homeschool motherhood content type stuff, it's usually between $500 and $600. Also keep in mind that you cannot start making money on your video views until you hit 10,000 followers and you get in that creator rewards program, which if I'm being totally honest, like entering that program, which I am in, where I get paid for my views, I actually think it has affected my views to where TikTok doesn't really want to push my videos out because they know they're going to have to pay me for it. So the money with content creation really is in the brand deals. So that would be like whatever your niche is what your content is going to be about. Mine is obviously like homeschooling and motherhood and just like life in general, right? Kind of like vlogs. So the brand deals come from, it's either like homeschool curriculum companies reaching out to me, companies that have like learning apps, things like that. They see my page, they see my videos, and then they'll reach out to me and say, hey, can we pay you this set amount of money to make a video for us? That's why it's so important to not just like start a random TikTok channel about everything under the sun, because when a brand does see your channel, they're like not really sure, like, okay, are they an educational content creator? Are they more so like funny skit type content creators? Like you need to kind of nail down your niche, which you can see in my little thing, teacher turned homeschool mom. And then I have all my links in there. Just showing that right there, teacher turned homeschool mom, gives companies who are looking for content creators an idea of what my content's going to be about. As far as recording goes, like right now I'm using my front camera. You can see it's like not very good quality. I don't really have good lighting in this room right now. However, I did invest for my brand deal videos. So when you go to my page and you see sponsored videos, you notice that the quality of those videos is much higher than the ones I do with my phone. That's because I did invest in a Sony digital camera, the mic system, like everything, because I'm getting paid by the company for those videos. So I want to produce quality content for them. However, if it's just like this informal type talking to the camera, I usually just use my front camera here on TikTok. And I do edit most of my videos just right here in TikTok. So that's another question I get a lot. Like, do you use a third-party app to edit? I use CapCut for my brand deal videos because I can use it on my laptop and I can do it really, really fast. But just for these kind of videos, I'm just talking to the camera. I edit right within TikTok. One thing that has really, really helped me in terms of trying to build multiple platforms, like obviously TikTok, I have the biggest following, but then I have my Instagram, my YouTube, and Facebook as well. It was getting really annoying because I would make a video on TikTok and you can't save the video without the TikTok watermark floating around, you know, where it says your username. So I couldn't just repost that to Instagram easily without them flagging me for like using content that's already been created on TikTok. So I did invest, it's $30 a month. I invested in something called Repurpose. I have it up here on my computer, repurpose.io. That thing has been a blessing. So what I do is I post a TikTok video and then it will automatically get posted to my Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So I don't have to go in and worry about the watermarks. I don't have to make separate content for each of these platforms. Everything I do here on TikTok just gets repurposed out to those other platforms, and the views are doing just fine. It doesn't have the watermark on there, and I'm gaining followers through those videos. Even though they've been repurposed from TikTok, you can't really tell. Last thing is a little intimidating for some people, but going live, like doing TikTok live specific to whatever your niche is, like mine being homeschooling, for example, highly recommend doing that. Even if you only get like a couple people the first couple times, like my first couple lives, a year ago, I'd probably have like 20 people in there, and now I'm getting 200-300 sometimes at a time. So you just have to have that confidence, go live, establish a following of people that trust you, choose a niche for something that you actually know what you're talking about. Like I was an ex-teacher and now I'm homeschooling, so people trust my judgment because I have that educational background. Maybe your niche is cooking and you want to make cooking videos or whatever, and you used to work in a restaurant. Like, I don't know, but just go off of what you know, what you're passionate about. And then when you do your lives, that will come through to the people watching you that you actually know what you're talking about. And then during your lives, you can always tell people, like, make sure you're following me. I've got this content coming out, blah, blah, blah. You can get a lot of following from that as well. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I know I get asked all the time, like, how did you start? How do you do this? How can I replicate what you're doing here? And it honestly is work. Like, this is a lot of work. And sometimes it feels like it's more than a full-time job, but it's paying. I am making more now than I ever did as a public school teacher with a master's degree. If TikTok were to go away, which is possibly going to happen in the future, hopefully I can just recreate what I'm doing here on Instagram and YouTube. But it's not a stable job. Like I said, my income is not steady. It depends on what brand deals I've got for that month. It depends on what my views are for that month. So don't quit your day job if you're doing this, if you're planning on doing this full time.